You've been feeling it, haven't you? That pull, that strange sensation in your body, like something inside you is shifting but you can't explain it. You're not imagining things and you're not alone. You didn't click on this by accident. This message found you because it was meant to. You've entered a sacred moment in your life, one that marks the beginning of a transformation most people will never experience in their lifetime. There is something awakening inside you, something ancient, divine, and powerful. The old version of you is fading, and a new self is emerging, not from ego but from soul. You are being called to rise. Your body is responding to frequencies your conscious mind doesn't yet understand. Have you felt the tension, the tiredness that makes no sense, or the sudden bursts of energy that feel cosmic in nature? That's not random. It's a sign. You've noticed yourself pulling away from things that used to distract you. You crave peace more than entertainment, silence more than noise. Your heart feels heavy at times, and yet in the stillness there's a quiet knowing something greater is happening. Your dreams have become vivid, almost prophetic. Time feels warped, sometimes speeding up, sometimes slowing down. That's not your imagination. It's reality bending as your frequency shifts. Right now, your soul is stretching beyond the limits of your current world. It's as if you're standing between two realities, one you've always known and one you're just beginning to remember. You might feel like you don't belong here anymore, like you're out of sync with the people around you. That's because you're not who you were yesterday, and your energy no longer fits the structures built on fear, survival, and illusion. This is not a breakdown, it's a breakthrough. You're not being punished, you're being initiated, chosen. You are being prepared to live in a higher vibration where truth replaces fear and spirit leads the way. If you felt lost, misunderstood, restless, or even a little crazy, that's because your reality is being rewired from the inside out. You are on the edge of something sacred. You are the seed breaking open. The storm isn't destroying you, it's revealing you. Everything uncomfortable that you're feeling is actually your body shedding what cannot survive in the higher realms. You're being emptied of false identities, outdated beliefs, and emotional weights that kept you tethered to a dimension your soul no longer belongs in. The space that's opening up inside you is not emptiness, it's room for the divine to move in. Let that sink in. You are not broken, you are becoming. And now comes the part most people never talk about. When you start to wake up, when your spirit begins to ascend, the veil between dimensions begins to thin. You start to notice the world around you feels off. The conversations you used to have now feel hollow. The places you once loved feel draining. And your spirit begins to whisper, there is more. That whisper is your truth. It's your original self calling you home. The higher part of you has always known this world was temporary, that the noise was just distraction, and that your real purpose was buried underneath layers of programming. You are finally starting to remember. This remembering is the first key to stepping into the fifth dimension. It's not a place you travel to with your body. It's a frequency you enter with your soul, and your soul is already halfway there. That's why everything around you seems to be changing. What used to feel normal now feels dense. What once entertained you now feels empty. You are rising. And as you rise, your body, your emotions, and your mind must rise too. You're not just feeling different, you are different. The old you could never have handled what your spirit is now being trusted with. You are being upgraded, recalibrated, transformed into a vessel strong enough to carry divine light. And now, the shift deepens. You're beginning to see that the world you lived in wasn't as solid as you once thought. Time doesn't behave the same way anymore. One day feels like a lifetime, while an entire week can pass in the blink of an eye. You look at the clock and wonder where the hours went. You walk into rooms and forget why. You speak words and feel like someone else is guiding your tongue. These aren't accidents. They are symptoms of alignment. You are syncing with divine time, not man-made time. The ticking clock of the third dimension is being replaced by the rhythm of your soul. You're becoming more intuitive. You feel people's emotions before they speak. You walk into a room and instantly sense if the energy is off. You hear someone talk and know if they're hiding pain. You no longer guess, you feel. This is the gift of those stepping into the fifth dimension, the ability to perceive through vibration, not logic. You might notice repeating numbers, strange coincidences, synchronicities that are too perfect to ignore. These are signs. road markers placed by the universe to remind you that you're on the path, even if it doesn't make sense to your mind yet. And here's the truth that few will understand. The more you ascend, the more the world around you will resist your transformation. Not because you're doing anything wrong, but because your energy threatens everything built on illusion. You'll be called distant, overly sensitive. You'll be told to snap out of it, to get back to reality. But what they don't realize is, you are already ahead of reality. You're not moving away from the truth. You're walking directly into it. And no one can stop what has already begun inside you. This is your reminder, your confirmation, your initiation. You are chosen, your body is shifting, your soul is ascending, you are entering the fifth dimension, and nothing will ever be the same again. You've probably felt it already, the way your body seems to be going through something unexplainable. Not sick, not broken, but definitely not normal. You wake up feeling heavy for no reason, then a few hours later, you're vibrating with energy. You've had days where your heart races without warning, your limbs feel tingly, or you feel a strange heat rise up your spine. Your sleep is unpredictable. One night you're wide awake with racing thoughts. The next you're sleeping 10 hours and still waking up exhausted. None of this is random. What you're experiencing is physical proof that your body is no longer operating in the third dimension. It's adjusting, being fine-tuned, so it can hold the frequency of the fifth. You're not just ascending spiritually, your cells, your nervous system, your very biology is being transformed to match the higher energy you're stepping into. Think of it like this. Your body was once wired for survival, stress, fear, and repetition. That's what the third dimension runs on. But now that wiring is being dismantled and rebuilt to process light, love, intuition, and higher purpose. And that takes a toll. You may feel pressure in your head, especially around your forehead or crown. Those are signs that your higher energy centers are being activated. You might notice buzzing in your ears or random body twitches, your system recalibrating in real time. You may even feel sensations that mimic illness, sore muscles, digestive changes, body temperature swings. But no medical test shows anything wrong. That's because it's not a physical issue, it's an energetic upgrade. Your DNA is literally being activated. Your body is being taught how to live in harmony with a reality that hasn't fully manifested yet, but it's on the way. Some of you are craving foods you never used to like, water-rich fruits, leafy greens, herbal teas, while suddenly feeling repelled by heavy, processed meals. That's because your body is asking for lighter fuel to match the lighter frequency. You may feel a deep inner prompting to move more, stretch, dance, walk barefoot, or spend time in the sun. These aren't just mood shifts, they are your body's way of syncing with the earth, absorbing codes from nature that aid your transition. You may even find that technology, crowds, artificial environments drain you faster than before. Your system can no longer tolerate what doesn't align with where you're headed. And that's not weakness, that's your inner intelligence protecting your vessel. At night, during rest, much of this transformation deepens. Dreams feel more vivid because they are. Your spirit is doing work in higher realms, learning, healing, remembering. You might wake up tired because you weren't just sleeping, you were journeying. Don't dismiss this. Rest when you feel called. Hydrate even when you don't feel thirsty. Your body is processing more than physical matter. It's processing light, frequency, and emotion at the same time. You may feel like isolating, like going silent. That's sacred too. Silence is how the body speaks what language cannot. This is a holy transition. You are not malfunctioning, you are morphing. And as your body changes, so does your energy field. Your aura, once faint and passive, is now expanding. People around you might start reacting to you differently, and they won't even know why. Some may be drawn to you, feel safe near you, or open up to you instantly. Others may feel uncomfortable, avoid eye contact, or suddenly disappear from your life. That's your energy doing the sorting. Your vibration is no longer neutral, it's magnetic. And with every spiritual step forward you take, your aura sharpens in clarity and strength. You've likely noticed it already. When you walk into a room, you feel the energy shift. When someone lies, you don't need proof, you feel it. Your body may tighten, your breath may shorten. These are not sensitivities, these are upgrades. Your field is becoming more than just a barrier. It's becoming a tool, a sensor, a spiritual interface between you and the world. It's also why you're being drawn to solitude, not out of loneliness, but because your energetic field needs space to recalibrate without interference. Your aura is fine-tuning itself to a higher pattern, and excess noise, whether it's social media, arguments, or even casual conversations, can distort that tuning process. You might find yourself speaking less, observing more, even feeling entire conversations in your chest before words are spoken. You may not know what to call it, but you're sensing frequency now. You're learning to read vibration, emotion, and truth without using your five senses. That's because your energetic field is no longer just reactive. It's becoming intuitive, alive, sovereign. And this shift comes with responsibility. Your energy now impacts others. You've become a transmitter. People will feel you before they understand you. They will be moved by your presence, not your words. And your intuition? It's not just a hunch anymore. It's divine guidance. You'll feel it in your body, a tightening in your gut when something is wrong, a wave of peace when you're aligned, a tingling in your hands or scalp when truth is near. These are your tools now, and the more you honor them, the stronger they become. Your field is also becoming more discerning. Where you once tolerated chaos, now it feels unbearable. Where you once engaged in surface-level conversation, now you crave depth, authenticity, soul. It's not that you've become antisocial, it's that your spirit refuses to waste energy. Your light has become intentional, and your aura, once passive, is now guarding your peace, alerting you when something isn't right. You don't need to explain yourself anymore. Your energy speaks for you. You're learning to protect this energy, not just physically, but spiritually. You may feel drawn to rituals you never cared about before, clearing your space with sound, breath, intention, placing boundaries where you used to fold, speaking affirmations over your home, your body, your mind. These aren't just spiritual practices, they're energetic hygiene. You're not the same anymore. Your frequency demands maintenance. You are becoming a temple, not just in theory, but in practice. And as your field grows, so does your influence. Without trying, you will begin to shift others simply by being in their presence. You'll activate what is dormant in them. You'll stir their spirit without saying a word. This is not your ego. It's your essence. And it's why you've gone through so much. Every challenge, every release, every tear, every moment of loneliness. It was all preparing you to hold this light, to carry it in your body, to transmit it in your energy. You didn't just wake up by accident, you were summoned. And now your body and energy are catching up with the calling you were born to fulfill. Have you noticed it yet? The sudden waves of emotion that crash over you without warning. One moment you're calm, and the next you're in tears for reasons you can't quite explain. Then there are the unexpected moments of joy. Those strange, beautiful bursts of peace that show up even when your outer world feels chaotic. This is not mood swings. This is not instability. This is your emotional body finally releasing what it was never meant to carry forever. What you're feeling now is not a breakdown. It's an emotional detox, a spiritual cleanse that goes deeper than the mind could ever reach. You're not losing control. You're being emptied of what no longer serves you so that the divine can move in fully. Your soul knows the truth. Emotions are energy in motion. And for years, maybe lifetimes, you've been holding on to stagnant pain, old grief, suppressed anger, guilt that was never yours to carry. These dense energies have been hiding in your body, buried under responsibilities, distractions, survival patterns. But now that your frequency is rising, your body can no longer hold these emotional weights. They're surfacing, not to destroy you, but to free you. Every tear, every pang in your chest, every memory that reappears uninvited is an opportunity to let go. Let it rise, let it move, let it leave, because it was never meant to define you. You may find yourself grieving things you thought you were over. Old friendships, childhood wounds, versions of yourself you've outgrown. This grief isn't weakness, it's sacred. It's the death of the old self, the one who held on to fear, pain, and false identity just to feel safe. But now, your spirit is stepping forward saying, I'm ready to live in truth. And truth has no room for emotional chains. When you cry now, it's not from despair, it's from release. It's your body breathing again, your soul untangling from the past. During this emotional clearing, you might feel raw, sensitive, even exposed. That's natural. You are shedding layers. Your nervous system is recalibrating. Your heart is opening wider than it ever has. And with that openness comes vulnerability, but also power. You begin to feel everything more deeply. Music moves you to your core. A kind word brings you to tears. A silent moment under the stars feels like communion with the divine. You're no longer numb, you're alive, fully, unapologetically alive. And with every emotional wave you allow to pass through you, you reclaim a piece of your soul. This is why emotional sensitivity is not a flaw. It's your compass. It's how your soul speaks to you. When something doesn't feel right, listen. When a situation drains your energy, honor that. When your heart pulls you in a direction that makes no logical sense, trust it anyway. Your feelings are no longer random reactions. They're sacred signals. And as you step deeper into this higher dimension, your emotional body becomes one of your greatest tools. It doesn't just tell you how you feel. It tells you where you're aligned. It tells you what needs healing. It tells you who you are becoming. And then there's the joy. Don't ignore that either. Those spontaneous moments where your heart feels light for no reason, those are glimpses of the new you. That's the emotional signature of the fifth dimension. Peace without explanation. Love without condition, gratitude without circumstance. You may have thought you needed external things to feel these emotions, but now they arise from within. That's not temporary happiness. That's soul-level resonance. That's your emotional body tuning into the truth of who you really are. So when you feel those intense highs and lows, don't suppress them. Don't label them. Let them move. Let them teach you. Let them purify your path. Because every wave is preparing you. Every tear is sacred. Every release is a return to your divine design. You are not being undone. You are being rewritten. And as your emotional body releases, your mind begins to shift too. Thought patterns that once ran your life begin to dissolve. Beliefs you inherited from your family, your culture, your past, all of them start to feel off. Not necessarily wrong, but no longer true for who you are becoming. This is the mental rewiring. Your brain is not just thinking differently, it's being upgraded to operate from a higher consciousness. Thoughts rooted in fear, shame, doubt, they no longer hold the same power over you. You see them arise, but now you question them. You don't automatically believe the inner critic anymore. You start choosing thoughts that match your soul, not your programming. You might find yourself noticing your inner dialogue in ways you never did before. The quiet self-judgment, the worry loops, the comparisons. Suddenly they feel heavy, foreign, even irritating. That's because your mind is awakening. It's beginning to realize that it's not the master of your life, it's the servant of your soul. And in this new dimension, your mind must follow the lead of your spirit, not the other way around. You begin to think in alignment, not in reaction. Your thoughts become clearer, simpler, more focused. You start to understand the weight of your focus, that where your attention goes, your energy flows. And so you become more intentional. You withdraw from drama, gossip, negativity, not because you're better than anyone, but because your frequency can't afford the cost of low vibration thoughts anymore. You realize that every thought is a seed, and in the fifth dimension, those seeds sprout faster. What you think, you begin to experience. What you believe, you begin to embody. There may be moments where this mental rewiring feels confusing. You might feel like you're losing grip on who you were. Your opinions change. Your interests shift. Even your identity feels fluid. But that's not instability. That's liberation. Your mind is letting go of labels that never fully fit. It's becoming spacious enough to hold paradox, to sit with mystery, to think beyond survival. You stop needing all the answers because you've found peace in the unknown. That's evolution. And this shift in thought creates a ripple effect in your reality. Your outer world begins to reflect your inner clarity. You find yourself attracting different experiences, ones that align with your new frequency. Opportunities that once felt out of reach suddenly feel natural. Conversations feel deeper. You begin to see life as a mirror, reflecting the energy you're now radiating. And all of it starts with a thought, a choice, a silent agreement within you that says, I will no longer live by fear, I will live by truth. This is not just a mindset change. This is a dimensional leap in consciousness. Your thoughts are no longer just mental chatter. They are tools of manifestation, of spiritual alignment. You're not thinking to survive anymore. You're thinking to create, to expand, to align. And as your thoughts shift, so does time. You may feel like the past is slipping away, that memories are losing their emotional grip. That's because your mind is no longer anchored in what was. It's being drawn into what is and what's possible. You are not losing your mind. You are gaining your soul. And with every old belief you release, every thought you upgrade, you come closer to living the life your spirit has always known was meant for you. Your emotions have cleared the space. Now your thoughts are rewriting the blueprint. The past has no hold on you here. The future is no longer a question mark. You are thinking in alignment with your divine path. And this, chosen one, is where your new reality begins. Have you been seeing the same numbers over and over again? 1111 on the clock, 222 on a license plate, 444 on a receipt. Maybe you're hearing the same song everywhere you go or thinking of someone right before they call. These aren't random. They aren't glitches. These are synchronicities, divine winks from the universe confirming that you're awakening. When your energy begins to shift into the fifth dimension, life starts speaking to you in symbols, not sentences. You begin to notice the pattern behind the pattern. You realize there is no such thing as coincidence. Everything is a message. Every moment is connected. Every encounter has meaning. Your awareness sharpens. You walk into a room and instantly feel the energy without a word being spoken. You hear a line in a song, and it hits your soul like a whisper from the divine. You look at the sky and something about the way the light moves makes you feel like you've been here before. And maybe you have. Not in this body, not in this moment, but your soul remembers. The veil between the physical world and the spiritual one is growing thinner. And now that your frequency is rising, you're tuned in to the whispers that most people miss. The universe isn't shouting, it never had to. It's been speaking to you in your language all along. Through numbers, feelings, dreams, sudden clarity, even silence, you're just now finally able to hear it. These repeating numbers, 111, 333, 555, they each carry a vibration, a code. When you see them, you're being reminded. You're not alone. You're aligned. You're on the right path even if your outer world looks confusing. For example, 111 often shows up when your thoughts are manifesting rapidly. It's a sign to stay mindful, to focus on what you do want, not what you fear. 444 is often a symbol of protection, a message from your spiritual team that they're near, guiding and surrounding you. 555, ? That usually means a major change is either unfolding or about to begin. And when you start seeing these signs repeatedly, don't brush them off. Pause, breathe, ask yourself, what was I just thinking about? What was I just feeling? Because the universe isn't just showing you a number, it's responding to your frequency. You're in dialogue now, but it's not only numbers. Maybe you've noticed animals crossing your path at unusual moments. A butterfly landing near you when you're in deep thought. A hawk circling above just when you are asking for a sign. A cat staring at you like it knows more than it's letting on. Animals carry spiritual messages. They are guardians, messengers, symbols from higher realms. And when you start to see them in specific moments of emotional intensity, you're not imagining it. Your spirit guides often speak through nature. And now you're listening. You might even be experiencing more vivid dreams, dreams that feel like memories. You wake up not shaken, but changed, as if you were just somewhere else. And you were. In dream time, your soul travels. It receives information, healing, and insight. You may find yourself meeting people in dreams who speak in symbols. You may be flying, walking through otherworldly landscapes, or even experiencing things that haven't yet happened. These are not just dreams. These are soul messages. And the more you pay attention to them, the more you begin to recognize patterns, guidance, and truths that go deeper than the waking world. Even déjà vu is different now. It doesn't feel like a coincidence anymore. It feels like a checkpoint. A recognition, a moment your soul remembers, confirming that you're aligned with the timeline your spirit chose long before you were born. These moments of familiarity aren't mistakes. They're signals that you're catching up to your higher path. They are echoes from the future calling you forward, reminding you that you are exactly where you need to be. And silence, those moments when everything around you seems to pause, when you feel a sacred stillness. You used to call it emptiness. But now you know better. That stillness is presence. It's the divine leaning in. In those moments, your soul receives downloads, subtle nudges, knowing without thinking, instructions without words. These aren't guesses, they're guidance, and they grow stronger the more you trust them. As these signs increase, the people around you might not understand. They might dismiss your experiences, call them superstition, or tell you you're reading too much into things. But that's only because they're still asleep. Don't let their blindness shake your vision. You're not crazy, you're not imagining it, you're evolving. The signs that are finding you now couldn't have reached you in your old frequency. But now, you're vibrating high enough to see the layers most people miss, and this is how you know you're rising. But as you rise, you'll also begin to notice something that cuts deep. The relationships around you begin to change. People who once felt like home start to feel distant. Conversations that once flowed feel forced. Some people drift away quietly, others leave loudly. Some relationships fade, some break. But all of it is part of the shift. Because as your energy changes, your connections must realign. Not everyone can walk with you where you're going. And that truth will hurt, especially when it comes from those you loved the most. You may start feeling like an outsider among your own family. You may find your circle growing smaller, not because you're pushing people away, but because you're no longer willing to dim your light to stay comfortable. The fifth dimension requires authenticity, and anything built on fear, control, ego, or codependency can't survive there. That means the people who fed off the old version of you, the people who needed you to be small so they could feel big, will start to feel uncomfortable in your presence. Not because you've changed too much, but because you've finally come home to yourself. You'll question whether you're the problem, whether you're being cold, selfish, too distant. But the truth is, you're just no longer pretending. You're no longer entertaining energy that drains you. You're no longer betraying yourself to belong, and the price of your growth will often be isolation. But that isolation isn't punishment, it's preparation. Because the people who are meant to meet the real you, the awakened, aligned, radiant version of you, they are coming. But first, the space around you must be cleared. The false must fall away so the true can rise. You may even go through a season where you're alone more than you've ever been before. You'll feel misunderstood, unseen. You'll wonder if it's worth it. But don't go back. Don't shrink. Don't try to squeeze yourself into old roles that no longer fit. This is the shedding. This is the pruning. You are not being abandoned. You are being refined. And in time, you'll start to see the beauty in the solitude. You'll realize that the peace you craved from others was always meant to be built inside yourself. You'll begin to enjoy your own company. You'll stop chasing validation. You'll discover that when you stop tolerating what doesn't align, you make room for relationships that nourish your soul. Soul family, sacred partnerships. People who see you, not because you perform for them, but because your energy speaks the same language as theirs. And those people will not need explanations. They will just understand. They will feel like home. So let go with love. Release with grace. Mourn what needs mourning, but don't hold on out of guilt or fear. The fifth dimension is a space of truth, and only the relationships built on truth can survive the transition. Everyone has their own timing. Some will catch up, some will not. But you must keep rising. You must honor your path, even when it's lonely. Because the relationships waiting for you on the other side of this transformation will be worth every tear you cried to get there. You're not losing your people. You're finding your tribe. Let the shift happen. Let love lead the way. Have you been sensing things before they happen? Feeling waves of emotion that don't even belong to you? Hearing internal whispers guiding you even when no one is speaking? This is more than intuition. This is more than a gut feeling. What's happening to you is the awakening of your spiritual gifts. Ancient abilities buried in your soul now rising to the surface because it's time. Time for you to remember who you really are. You were never just here to survive or go through the motions of a mundane life. You were sent here to feel what others avoid, to know what others dismiss, to see what others are blind to. And now that your vibration is aligning with the fifth dimension, these gifts are activating because the world needs them. At first, it can be overwhelming. You pick up on energies you can't explain. You walk into a room and feel tension without a word being spoken. You sense when someone is lying, even if their face says otherwise. You dream of places you've never visited, yet they feel familiar. You think of someone, and they suddenly reach out. You hear an inner voice, quiet, persistent, loving, that guides you with clarity no logic can match. This is not your imagination. This is your spiritual sight opening. You're no longer limited to the 5 physical senses. Your soul's senses, your divine perception, are coming online. You may begin to notice you're absorbing other people's emotions like a sponge. Their sadness, their fear, their stress. It lands in your body before they ever speak it. And it's not a burden, although it can feel like one. It's sensitivity, yes, but it's also sacred awareness. It means your energy field is attuning to a higher reality, where separation is an illusion and connection is truth. What someone else feels, you feel, because you're tapped into the grid that connects all life. This isn't weakness. This is a spiritual responsibility, and it must be protected. You'll begin to crave solitude, not because you're antisocial, but because your spirit needs quiet to integrate. Too much stimulation can throw you off. Loud places, toxic conversations, meaningless distractions, they weigh on you now. That's because your nervous system is recalibrating to a higher frequency and your soul is demanding alignment. You might find yourself turning off the noise, walking away mid-sentence, needing space from even the people you love. Honor that. Your gifts are blossoming and they need room to breathe. And some of you are experiencing deeper gifts. Clear knowing, where you receive insight without effort. Clear seeing, where your mind's eye brings you symbols, visions, flashes of future events. Clear feeling, where your body becomes the barometer of truth. These abilities are not new, they are ancient. You've carried them from lifetime to lifetime. And now, in this time of awakening, they are returning to you, because you are ready to remember. You are ready to serve. This awakening is not accidental. It's not random. There's a reason you feel called to understand more, to go deeper, to search beyond the surface. Your soul is being prepared for assignments, divine ones. You were not chosen to fit in. You were chosen to activate, to lead, to guide. And your gifts are the tools that will help you do exactly that. You're not here to impress people. You're here to shift the atmosphere when you walk in the room. You're here to speak the unspoken, to feel what's unhealed, to shine light on what's been hidden. Your gifts aren't just for you, they're for the collective, and the more you trust them, the stronger they will become. But with gifts comes responsibility. You'll need to protect your energy. You'll need to discern what's yours and what's not. You'll need to set boundaries without apology, to say no when your spirit contracts, and to retreat when your soul says, enough. You'll have to stop asking for permission to be powerful, stop doubting your insights, stop second-guessing what you feel. You are tuned in to a frequency most will never hear. That doesn't make you better, that makes you called. So ground yourself, cleanse your energy daily, speak blessings over your mind and body, stay in prayer, stay in alignment. Your gifts are sacred, treat them that way, because the world needs what you carry. And more than ever, you're being prepared for something beyond comprehension. You're becoming something this world has forgotten. An embodied soul, a light walker, a spiritual guide disguised in human form. And now, everything in your life is preparing you to step fully into that role. You've been through the breakdown. You've walked through the fire. You've been stripped down, emptied, humbled, and reshaped. And none of it was for nothing. It was all leading here. Because the moment has finally arrived. It's time to live in alignment with the truth your soul has always known. You are not just awakening. You are becoming the evidence of awakening itself. Your entire life has been preparation. Every heartbreak, every loss, every unanswered question, every sleepless night, every moment you felt like giving up, they all led you to this crossroads. You are not who you were. And the world you came from, you no longer belong there. That's because your energy no longer matches it. You've stepped into a new frequency. The fifth dimension isn't a dream anymore. It's your home. And now your mission begins, not to escape this world, but to embody something higher within it. You are the bridge now, between the seen and unseen, between heaven and earth, between illusion and truth. The fifth dimension doesn't arrive with fireworks. It arrives through people like you who dare to live differently, speak differently, love differently. It shows up through your actions, your thoughts, your energy, through your willingness to walk in alignment when the world chooses comfort, through your commitment to healing even when no one understands your pain, through your quiet refusal to pretend you're still the person you used to be. You are not just carrying light, you are becoming light. And as you walk forward into this higher reality, everything around you will begin to reflect your transformation. Old patterns will fall away. The right people will appear. Synchronicities will multiply. Purpose will find you, not because you searched for it, but because you became it. This is what it means to enter the fifth dimension. It's not about escaping life. It's about embodying your soul while still in human form. It's about being fully here, fully grounded, fully divine. No longer lost in illusion, but anchored in truth. And you, chosen one, are the living proof that it's possible. The journey doesn't end here. But the chapter where you questioned your worth, your path, your purpose, that chapter is closing. From here on, you walk with a knowing. A quiet, unshakable knowing that you are the vessel, that you are the signal, that you are the shift. And as you continue rising, know this: your presence alone is a message. Your energy alone is a transmission. You don't need to be loud, you don't need to be perfect, you just need to be real. Because when you are real, you align with your source. And when you align with your source, you become unstoppable. You are not late, you are not behind, you are not broken, you are rising exactly when you were meant to. This is your time, this is your calling. And now, chosen one, it's time to walk in it. Fully, boldly, unapologetically, because the world is watching, and your light is the signal that something higher is here, something sacred, something unstoppable. You,